our victorious forces continue their liberation of Europe's cities, sweeping the GLA from the streets. In today's Security Council session, the Premier humbly accepted the world's gratitude, but cautioned that the GLA should be hunted down to the last soldier. This is a wounded animal, declared our leader, but it must not find a cave where it might gather back its strength. The USA now chooses to concentrate on her own borders, but China is here to help our European comrades. Our new allies agreed with the Premier strategy, and our military has launched new aggressive campaigns against the terrorists. This is Sun Meiying reporting.
Current intel reports that the GLA are retreating towards this location. We will make our stand here. Do not permit any GLA units to leave this area. Our new Helix helicopter should assure your success. The appearance of our forces from the south will signal the completion of your main objective.
What do you have in mind? You have a target for me?
Welcome back, General.
Defend this area.
You can probably imagine what's going to happen in this mission.
To ruin somebody's day.
It's actually quite reminiscent of a mission from Red Alert 1, except the difference being that they had nukes that they were trying to transport across maps, or across the map via different routes. This has sort of the same style to it. You have a map that's decently sized. There's going to be a number of trails that the GLA units will be following. And essentially your goal is just to prevent them from leaving the area.
China has been generous. We'll tear through their armor.
Initially, I kind of played it as I should maybe have more units, some more infantry around the map, try to control more with Gatling cannons and with bunkers, but it kind of quickly showed itself to be much simpler than that.
Entering the area. Intel has been moving along the path shown on your radar.
So the easy portion is that the game just tells you where they're going to be moving from.
A wave of
It's-
GLA is approaching from the west.
It's a little easier to
The overload of the
defend when you can just do this.
surface control the area.
It's our turn. We're going to ruin.
The fact that the game gives us Helix helicopters again, as well as funneling some demo trucks in with certain waves, just kind of trivializes the experience at times.
Building is complete. The Helix isn't the only powerhouse. Something down there making a flyby. Pull no stops. Let's all these guns.
So yeah, if you kind of want an easy mode of this mission, just build a lot of Helix choppers. Supplement it with some tanks, for sure, whether they're Battle Masters or Gatling tanks.
These guns.
As long as you have some punch against Scorpion tanks and something to punch against faster units. You could also do Dragon tanks, I guess, and have them do firewalls in certain locations,
Somebody's dead.
but I don't know if their damage output would be the best for it. This is also one of those missions that you want to get comfy for. You're going to be going through a lot of waves from a lot of different areas, And this first portion is kind of just the trial run to show you the ropes. If anything, this is a nice mission for you to test certain things out. Maybe not with your Helix choppers at the exact moment that they attack. It kind of also shows the, I guess we'll call it, superiority of the Helix in this environment. The GLA aren't necessarily overpowered or anything, but they won't have quad cannons too frequently. They'll have them, and you can even cheese those just by sort of appearing near the area that they're going to spawn. So they can harass you, they can be deadly, but more often than not you can sort of punch through it. And like I said, at worst, that's what your Battle Masters, Gatling tanks, maybe Overlords will serve as that extra unit that, or that final line of defense that will protect you from an easy loss. Even with 4 quad cannons, I think I lost 1 Helix, which is not anywhere near critical. The only problem really is just relocating your source of income. You get a lot of oil derricks as well. I think there's 4. There's 3 or 4 on the map, if I remember correctly. So you have at least some steady income.
Helix on the scene.
I also figured I'd try to do build MiGs and have those set to a defensive pattern, just because of their faster move speed. If the quad cannons bunch up like they sort of are now, and I had 4 MiGs, I could create a firestorm and sort of get rid of them that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out. MiGs are still incredibly fragile, even with the armor upgrade, and to get a rapid response, you're going to want to set them on guard mode. But the problem is that depending on where they are in their rotation or loop or circle, it seriously hampers the MiG's ability to respond and deal damage. Depending on how they're organized, you might also miss out on a firestorm. Not because they didn't shoot in a fast enough succession, but more because the unit that they're targeting has moved too far away, or has covered too much distance that they don't actually bunch up. I suppose you could have them target ground and do it that way, but it just seems like an extra level of micromanagement that's hit or miss. In that instance, we saw that the Firestorm was powerful, it did hit its mark, but we'll have instances later on that will be different. While we've finished Wave 4, and there's about 4 minutes left, I forget if it's actually Wave 5 that's the last one, or if they have Wave 6. And you can see how MiGs don't really work out. I think I lost half of them, at least 3, which is not really a good return. They also, for whatever reason, can get shot at by quad cannons outside of their guard range, it seems, and they don't fight back. In fact, none of them will fight back, so you have to send them in anyways. Honestly, it's just kind of ridiculous that this sort of unit interaction exists. Not to say that the MiG is terrible or anything, it just sort of reveals the flaws in how guard mode works and how the MiG itself operates. I was hoping maybe there'd be an Easter egg transmission, as with Red Alert 2, but sadly not the case. Also, for some reason, they were really desperate to take out not only the bus, but the outhouses. Especially with demo trucks, it seems like a little bit of overkill.
We must stop them. You have a target for me. Make it worth my time. They're skirting the lake. Intercept them.
Unit lost.
One thing will happen. Let's hold these guns. We're going to ruin somebody's day. One thing will happen. Make in flight. Make it worth my...
So even though they have these bikes circumvent the lake, whatever that means, it's circumventable from all sides, they don't do anything past, I guess, their waypoint. We've seen that interaction before with a couple quad cannons here and there, as well as, I believe, some Scorpion tanks. I think it's just that they're waiting for other units to show up before they move on. And because they move so quickly and likely didn't have a trigger to wait for anybody else, they just end up losing to one defensive technical structure.
Unit lost.
We bear gifts, the mother of all weapons. We're going to ruin somebody's day. We're going to ruin somebody's day.
I like Helix choppers, what can I say?
Make it worth my time.
It's funny, Helix choppers, and I believe Overlord tanks have the same issue, are fun and all, and there's no reason not to use them. The only problem with them is it gets really hard to micromanage or figure out which ones have upgrades versus which ones don't. So generally, I tend to just buy their upgrade as they get out of the airfield or at their collection point before I add them to a group.
Victory is ours. Yeah, what?
Our forces have arrived from the south. You have been successful in preventing the enemy retreat.
Also, if you click on a superpower and the mission completes, you can still track it with your mouse. Can't use it though.